subscribe. This is the most scariest hidden rooms and places in the world. TikTok. Like and subscribe, guys. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because you won't regret subscribing. And I will be your camping soon, guys. And if you want my vids, hit the notification bell, and you will receive all my videos.
He found a hidden room in his house, and inside were boxes labeled Ellie. Right away, people in the comments warned it could be tied to Ellie Carter, who vanished 15 years ago. They begged him to check again. The next day, he went back. The second he stepped inside, the air turned icy, like something invisible was watching him.
You guys heard that, right?
His camera shook as he filmed the walls. Shadows twitched in the corners. Whispers slid through the silence, calling his name. That night, he set up a motion sensor and a night vision camera. Hours later, the footage showed doors rattling on their own, chairs scraping across the floor, and objects sliding slowly across the room as if pushed by unseen hands.
What was that?
Oh my gosh!
The next morning, a friend messaged him. People were saying his violent clips matched an old Ohio case, where a sealed room was found with hidden evidence. The address? His house. He went back one last time, and as he searched, one of the doors groaned open by itself. What he captured after that was pure nightmare.
Oh my god!
A terrifying video of what happens next is blowing up on YouTube right now.
He found a hidden room in his house, and inside were boxes labeled Ellie. Right away, people in the comments warned it could be tied to Ellie Carter, who vanished 15 years ago. They begged him to check again. The next day, he went back.
This couple bought a house from the 1920s and found the creepiest things hidden inside it.
How many times have you seen someone with a cannon on the top? Well, I'm going to expose what's inside. What you are about to see is about to blow your mind, so believe me when I say this, sit down for this video and stay tuned till the end. We're on top of it now, and who would have thought it had the stairwell down inside? Let's see where it takes us. Right, as a 6'4" man, this is actually rather difficult to get down. Ooh, might have to sit down, guys, just to get down. Right. Are we underground? What the actual hell? I need to put the flash on. So I don't actually know what this building is. Look at that. Spiral staircase in. Very small doors, by the way, might I add. We're going in now. What? Look at this. It's all bricked up. That literally looks like a fireplace. And then it's got these little hatches at the sides. Wow. Originally, it had this door, which comes from the outside. There's people outside. I wonder if they heard me. But anyway, I think it's time to go back up. If I can actually fit. It's a tight squeeze, I'm not gonna lie, guys. Alright, fellas. So yeah, this has been.
His parents bought this house and soon noticed that a room had been walled up. The parents of this woman had just moved into their new home when they made an unexpected discovery, a hidden room sealed behind a thick concrete wall, as if someone had tried to erase it from the history of the house. Looking closer, something strange appeared from within. The window on the right seemed almost pressed against the left wall, with barely 10 centimeters separating them. However, outside, the story changed dramatically. The same window was visible, but this time it stood more than a meter away from the exterior wall of the house, leaving a disturbing question about what could be hidden between these two facades. The question became unavoidable. What was this wall hiding? And more importantly, why would the former owner take such care to seal it? A sense of dread grew stronger as the father decided to break a hole through the concrete. The dull, heavy sound echoed through the room, as if each strike was trying to awaken a secret buried behind the wall. A dark piece of the house's history was waiting to be revealed. What they discovered said a lot about the former owner, and it was terrifying. Comment window for part 2.
He found a sealed door behind his basement wall, and what was inside made him call the police immediately. This guy had just moved into an old house. Everything seemed normal until he started renovating the basement. That's when he noticed one wall that felt strange. It sounded hollow off, so he grabs a hammer, starts breaking it down. Behind it was a secret room no one was supposed to find. At first, it looked abandoned. Old arcade machines, a box, television, empty bottles. Stuff that hadn't been touched in decades. But then, he spots a newer Xbox, some tools, and a half-drunk water bottle. And here's the part that'll mess with your head. Like, someone had been inside recently. That's when it gets creepy. He hears a footstep, turns around, there's a kid just standing there in the corner, not moving, not saying a word, but he lives alone. He turns back and the kid is gone. No exit, no sound, nothing. Because whatever that room was, he was never meant to find it. He ran out and called the police. And what they discovered next was way worse than anyone expected. Want part 2? Hit follow before it.
Last week, we found a secret room in my house.
There's a bunch of stuff in here.
And at the end of the video,
The man who discovered a secret room beneath the house shocked the world when he forced it open and saw what was inside. Mark had bought an old house with the intention of renovating it into a warm and welcoming home. While renovating the exterior walls, he accidentally noticed a patch of grass near the wall that seemed unusually smooth, in stark contrast to the surrounding ground. Intrigued, he grabbed some tools and dug at that spot, uncovering a metal hatch leading to an underground passage. This discovery left him both uneasy and excited. Instead of opening the hatch immediately, he decided to contact the former owner to learn more. To his great surprise, the man reacted with panic. He begged him not to open the passage under any circumstances before abruptly hanging up. This mysterious warning only fueled Mark's curiosity. That night, unable to sleep and haunted by his thoughts, he finally gave in to temptation. Armed with a flashlight and a few tools, he returned to the hatch and forced it open. What he saw inside left him speechless. The scene was so shocking that his first instinct was to immediately call the police. Comment section. Watch
the first room in pitch black for 10 minutes, or to go into the second room in pitch black for 5 minutes. An offer a lot of people initially picked, until they got down the staircase. Second room, they said in unison. We all left, expecting them to change their minds immediately. One of the lads slipped through the hole in the wooden boards and turned right, heading up the stairs and positioning himself on the fridge. I went through next, and positioned myself at the foot of the stairs. I'd just like to say at this point, all of us regulars felt complete comfort going to the bottom of the stairs practically alone. We'd all taken turns bringing people down here, and had done it numerous times each, so this time was no different. There was a giddy, nervous atmosphere when the two youngsters entered the staircase. The flashlights we used were cheap ones we'd gotten from the market, so they would cast an eerie yellow glow. Slowly, my brother and his friend made it down the stairs, clearly attempting to show face and act unmoved by the state of the rotten, decaying wood around them. But as they trenched through the mulch, they stuck close together. They took their time, so much so, the guy at the top shouted for them to hurry, and they both nearly crapped their pants. When they finally got to me, I told them that this was the first room, shining the flashlight around the room through the doorway, and that they were going into the next one, aiming my beam through the darkness to the frame of the other door. The room was a decent size, and as stated, the flashlights were cheap, but I remember taking notice that the beam that cut through the first room never seemed to illuminate the second room at all, as if there was an object obstructing its path. My brother's friend walked into the room, and as my brother walked past me, I grabbed his shoulder and told him that he didn't have to do this, and if he did, then he could back out whenever. With a nod and a dismissive wave, he followed his friend. They crossed the room, past the table, and disappeared through the second doorway, as if walking through a dark stage curtain. I hit the button on my Casio watch to start the countdown from 5 minutes. I then aimed the beam of my flashlight up the staircase. The guy sitting on the fridge smiled excitedly and looked at his watch. I really need to piss, dude. I'll be right back, he said, jumping down and disappearing back through the gap. I stood at the bottom of those stairs for what seemed like forever. I could hear the faint giggles from across the first room. They seemed muffled, as if hearing voices from behind the door. How long left? My brother's voice shouted. 3.5 minutes, I replied, checking my watch. Now, in the basement, despite it obviously being underground, there was never an uncomfortable temperature. It was colder than upstairs, but had no bite. There was never a chill. And while being down there countless times, not once had any of us felt any sort of breeze. But, and this memory still haunts me a little, especially when there is a sudden shift in temperature. I noticed that I became very cold stood at the bottom of the stairs, to the point where I could see my breath when checking the time against the light on my watch face.
The man who discovered a secret room under the house shocked the world when he forced his way open and discovered what was inside Part 2. The police arrived quickly after receiving Bob's call. The underground passage was narrow and dark, with an unsettling, musty smell lingering in the air. In the center of the chamber lay rows of neatly arranged coffins, numbering more than a dozen. Each coffin was covered in a thick layer of dust. Their designs were bizarre, engraved with intricate patterns and symbols that seemed to hint at some ancient secret. When the lid of the first coffin was pried open, everyone held their breath. However, to their surprise, there was no corpse inside. Instead, the coffin contained neatly folded clothes. The styles of these garments spanned across different eras, some dating back several centuries. The police continued to open the remaining coffins, only to find the same situation in each one: clothes without a single body. Even stranger, the clothes, though old, showed no signs of decay, as if they had been preserved by some special means. The discovery sent chills down everyone's spine. The discovery of the chamber quickly made national headlines, sparking countless speculations about the truth behind the coffins and the clothes.
Creepy bedrooms people actually lived in. Creepy doll room. Blood red room. rotting mattress. Clown room. The mirror room. The taxidermy room. The cobweb room. The medical room. The crypt bedroom. Would you dare to spend one night in any of these creepy bedrooms? Creepy bedrooms.
This man found a secret room in his new house, but as he opened it, he made a terrifying discovery. A man named Chris discovered a hidden door in his backyard, leading to an abandoned room. As the man makes his way inside, he finds strange books and objects, leading him to believe whoever lived there used to practice witchcraft.
¡Qué asco!
Now, as Chris opens another door hidden behind a shelf, he discovers the room connects to his house.
Concha, mi casa. What the fuck?
Creeped out yet excited for the extra space, he plans a renovation.
Bueno, gente, yo estoy en mi casa con la sorpresa de que hay una habitación ahí que no sabía que existía.
But one night he begins to hear someone moving around his house, so he calls the police and investigates.
Miren cómo se mueven, ¿qué tal que lo parió? What the fuck? Miren eso. ¡Ay, la puta Yagi! ¡La concha de su madre! ¡La concha de su madre! ¡Ay, la concha de su madre! ¡La concha de su madre!
What looks like a dark figure can be seen watching Chris behind the swinging hammock. This man found a secret room in his new house.
3 more creepy hidden rooms found in people's homes. Number 1, Reddit user Lumberjack shared jaw-dropping images of a small passageway he stumbled upon in his new home. Within the tiny space he found an ominous-looking locked door which was hiding the entrance to a small room containing a briefcase and a safe. Inside these items were money, watches, and most strangely a series of videotapes. One of these was covered in writing which just repeated no over and over again. Number 2, a couple were starting to do renovations in their new home and to their surprise discovered a secret passageway behind a bookcase. Inside they found a note saying "you found it," and it then went on to explain that there was a serious black mold problem in the house which caused the previous homeowners to leave. Number 3, one student got a nasty surprise when he moved into a house in New Mexico bought by his parents. At night he would hear banging noises coming from beneath the floor, and after some investigation he found a hidden door in the floor of the pantry leading to a hidden basement. Within it was a desk, working lights, and most creepily a recently smoked cigarette. 3 more creepy.
He checked into a sketchy motel and found someone in a secret room. User Fish Snatcher uploaded a disturbing video explaining that while he was checking into his room, he found a trap door in the closet.
So I check into my hotel room and immediately see this. You see that line under the door? What is this? Maybe it's some kind of service. What? Is smuggling time? What is this? What the fish snatcher? This is crazy. This is a hotel. Stick it all the way in.
But it wasn't until he looks deeper inside that he would make a horrifying discovery.
What the fish snatcher?
He checked into a sketchy.
This creepy video is a part 2 of a video I shared last week by a TikToker that now goes by the name Quiet Man. But to catch you up, he found a hidden door in one of his homes, and when he opened that door he was met with cement blocks blocking his way. So he made a hole in the wall and shined his camera through, where he seemingly caught 2 figures on camera. Now this video obviously went viral, so now he's back and he ventures inside. And he caught something on camera that I don't think he noticed. Now here's that clip, but you can watch the full thing over on his page. I'll tag him below. And let me know what you think. This creepy video.
The White House has a room no one talks about, not even the president's. It was accidentally discovered last year by a maintenance crew during routine inspections. Behind a sealed wall in the sub-basement, they found an old iron door with no keyhole. Only a strange symbol. It wasn't on any blueprint. When they finally forced it open, the room inside was covered in claw marks. And the walls? They were lined with chains. Broken ones. In the center of the room, there was a chair bolted to the floor and something still strapped to it. Whatever it was, wasn't human. Cameras sent inside immediately shorted out. The maintenance team was never seen again. But one intern, who leaked the story, claimed he heard screaming beneath the floorboards at night. The White House called it a hoax, but days later that intern disappeared too. And his apartment? Completely empty, except for one thing on the mirror written in red. Don't open the door again. Think it's just an urban legend? Or did they trap something under there that was never supposed to get out? Comment Room 0 if you want to see the leaked floor plans, and share this before it disappears.
Alright, so I found something up in my attic. Something I've never seen before. I mean, I lived here for 5 years now. So I found it. When I first moved here, I found a bunch of these cardboard that were blocking this room right here. And they're using this to make a makeshift bed. And that was like a pillow or something back there. And they're definitely sleeping in this room. But I heard some noises up here. And I started to come up here. And I mean, I'm kind of crouching right now. I can't stand up all the way. Got these cardboard all the way up along the sides. I never really thought about it. And then there's a wall back here. And I knocked this over. Look at this. It's supposed to be a wall. And I definitely a hidden room back here. You've never seen it. Someone's definitely been living up here. Alright. I'm in. Holy crap. Dude, what is that?
Little Ease, a notorious prison cell beneath the White Tower in the Tower of London, was designed to inflict extreme discomfort and physical suffering upon its occupants. Measuring about 4 feet in height and 2 feet in width, this lightless cell prevented an adult human from standing or lying down, making it impossible to find any position of rest, hence the term Little Ease. The deliberate design aimed to break the prisoner's spirit and coerce confessions through a combination of physical discomfort and psychological pressure. The cell's location in a dark and isolated section of the Tower of London added to the torment, enhancing the psychological distress experienced by inmates. The absence of light and fresh air, coupled with the confined space, created an environment of sensory deprivation. Historical evidence points to Edmund Campion, a Catholic priest in Elizabethan England, spending 4 days in the Little Ease cell in July 1581.
We was renovating this four-story Victorian building in Chislehurst, Kent. We found a secret room in the attic. It was padlocked up before I filmed with locks dating back to the 1940s. The tenants of 14 years said they were never intrigued to open up the room as no one could get up there easy. What we found was so creepy. We was renovating the
secret rooms that people discovered inside their house. A house owned by Ohio University was thought to be haunted because students kept hearing noises like the closet opening. But they eventually found a secret closet that led to a secret room in their basement. Inside the room, they found books, a bed, and photographs. Turns out a stranger was living in there the whole time and they had no idea. On Reddit, a user shared a photo of their new home and an odd passage. The locked door at the end of the passage led to another room. Money and watches were inside the briefcase, but that's not all. There was also a terrifying videotape that just said no repeatedly. To solve the mystery, the tape was turned over to the police. After noticing unusual boards in his basement, this man investigated. When he moved them, he found a whole room he had no idea about. The room had empty gun cases and tons of ammunition. And more terrifying, a grenade that turned out to be a dud. Secret rooms that people discovered inside their
This was the most evil lady that ever lived. Her name was Crystal Methans, and in the late 1800s she was known in her small town for being different. People thought she was just mentally ill. She'd sit in the yard for hours, grinning at nothing. But then children started disappearing. At first, it was just one or two. They blamed it on wild animals or bad luck, until a hunter stumbled across a clearing deep in the woods. He found dolls made of real hair and bone nailed to the trees. When they searched her home, they found what was left of the missing kids hidden in the walls, under the floorboards, and in her basement. She'd kept them close like pets. When they dragged her away, she started to scream and cry, saying, "Don't take them away, they are my children." And before they could lock the cell door, she whispered, "I just wanted them to stay little forever." The police later found out that she once had 2 kids that were grown enough to be taken away to war, never to be seen again. She was sentenced to 3 years in prison, but she only lived for 2 years after the incident. This was the...
It looks like someone tried to break into the bank vault. No one can tell me what's inside this room, and I only...